What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video from the Royal Jokers. I know it's been a while since we posted anything. Been a real busy year, but we're going to try to keep it more consistent. We want to thank everybody for stopping by. You can greatly help this channel by liking and subscribing, and please hit that bell to get notifications on when we ever post another video. But other than that, without further ado, let's get straight to the comic. Today, we're going to be discussing The Joker Year One, which is more of a retelling of his origin story. Now, if you know anything about the Joker, you know his origin story changes a lot. There's really no definitive origin from the Joker. I think a lot of people would like to go by the Killing Joke comic, which was more in depth about his origin. But it seems like DC has decided to go ahead and do a retelling of the origin story. Now, we're not saying this is going to stay his origin story. It might change again. This is something the writers might want to do. Also, it might just be something that they want to incorporate, especially for the new 52 comics coming off of the Batman Year One. So let's get straight into it. Now, we start this with just like a monologue that the Joker has within himself, inside his mind. And he goes on to say, "Stop laughing, please. Just be fine. You lived with pain and fear for so long, and now you're free. And no one can take that freedom away from you. No one. You're fearless. But I'm free. You don't have to do this. Please, it's too much. You're free. If you're going to laugh, then just laugh it off." Which is a perfect monologue for the Joker, especially when it comes to a battle that he's having within himself amongst three Jokers, which is a perfect play on the Three Jokers comic. But it's just basically, you know, we often think of the Joker as somebody who just doesn't have any feelings towards, you know, pain, or any feels towards remorse or sadness. And this kind of starts off by telling us at one point, maybe the Joker did have some type of feelings. Maybe he did feel like none of this is right, what he's doing. But maybe that insanity has taken over as well. The humanity in him has slowly went away and has been conquered by that insanity that has plagued his mind, which I think is a great way to start off a Joker, I guess, origin story. And then we go where the Joker is immediately picked up running up to this lady named Sally. And he basically says, like, "It's all because I love you. I'm doing this all for you, and I'm going to make things right. Please wait for me." And then Sally, which isn't her name, husbands come out and ask, "Who's this guy?" Now, Sally has no idea who the Joker is. She says she didn't know what this was about. And truthfully, it don't really tell us the importance of Sally and why he did this, because it immediately jumps to 6 months later, where the Joker is in this apartment. Now, I'm sure later on in the series, it will give us clarity about Sally and why that part was important. But it just jumps over to Joker into this apartment where you see a skeleton, a deceased person, and the Joker just basically sitting there with a beard and laughing because the landlord is saying you're late on your payment, which is a twisted, funny way of saying ain't nobody paying you. Then the Joker goes on to talk to herself and says, "I had it all planned out. It started with heist, taking what was mine, but then it became something else. It became about chaos. Why did you always ruin things? You go too far. Chaos, but it wasn't your fault. I must have been betrayed. Someone in my gang must have talked to the cops, to that Batman." From there, it immediately shows us that he's also talking to the version of himself when he was the Red Hood. Now, we have to remember that this is an origin story, so this is taking place immediately after he fell into the chemicals, which is why he's putting makeup on to make himself look like a regular person with his pale skin being shown a lot. So let's keep that in mind. This is immediately taking place when he fell into those chemicals. We switch over to Jim Gordon, who is just a detective right now. Remember, he's not a commissioner yet. There's somebody in place as commissioner, and he really does not like Jim Gordon. We have to keep in mind that GCPD was very corrupt before Jim took over as commissioner. So he has a lot of people within the GCPD that don't like him, that want to see him gone. And he gets into fights with detective saying that, "Hey, you're got a nice car with the salary that we make. How can you afford that? He's just basically a good cop trying to call out so many crooked other cops. And of course, the other cops in the GCPD do not like that at all. Now we pick up in a bar where this guy is just running his mouth talking about what he would do to somebody and him knocking somebody out. And Joker's just like, you wouldn't do nothing. You're just all talk and instigate this big brawl between them all. In the middle of this brawl, the Joker is stopped by one of his old henchmen, number 22. Now, if you know anything about the Red Hood gang, you knew that everybody only used numbers. That way, nobody can roll on anybody. There's no information that anybody can tell on anybody if they're ever got caught by the cops, by the Batman, or whatever you may have it. Which is a smart thing to do. But anyway, he's stopped by number 22. They have this conversation, how he got away. And then we pick up immediately where a guy who watched the whole fight break out calls number 2, which was the second in command when the Joker was running the Red Hood gang. And number 2 is basically the leader now. And he's like, this may be a huge problem that he's back. And we have to get rid of him. So we started to pick up where a robbery starts to happen. And Batman does what Batman do. And he stops them, tie him up, and leave him for the cops. And from there, we have a conversation between him and Jim Gordon. And Jim Gordon goes on to say, I think that's it for the Black Hood gang. Batman also says, maybe, but there was the Red Mask last week and the Gray Ghost the week before. Copycats and distractions. The Red Hood gang is still out there. They need to be our focus. Which is very interesting because they don't know if these other gangs are just copycats or just the Red Hood changing their names to keep the focus off of them. But then Jim Gordon goes on to say, okay, sure, but are they even an effective threat anymore? I mean, the brains of their operation, their leader, is dead. And then Jim pauses with unsurety and say, he is dead, isn't he? You were there. You told me he fell into a chemical vat. Then Batman goes on to say, he did, but there's no body. I tested the compound from the vat. It was corrosive, but not enough to eliminate human remains so quickly. Which is Batman's way of saying he should be dead, but there was no body. And there's no way that a body shouldn't be there, which he has no way of explaining that. Now we skip ahead to where the Joker seen Batman and he took off running because he basically had a little fear once he seen him, which is why he's yelling out coward, calling himself a coward. Then he goes on to say, maybe we just walk away, start new somewhere. It doesn't matter who did this to us. Not really. We don't need revenge or violence. Please, no more chaos. I'm scared. I'm so scared of what we're going to do. And I think that and right before he finished that sentence, the Joker strangles it. Now you have to understand, this is kind of a metaphor. The Joker is choking away and strangling and trying to kill whatever humanity is left of him, which is basically what we were saying at the beginning of the video. It's like, yeah, he had humanity in him at one point that kind of held him back from being who he truly wanted to be or what he wants to become. And while he's strangling the last piece of humanity left of him, he says with a laugh, don't you see? Don't you understand? I am chaos. Then we hear a voice in the background that says chaos with fear isn't really chaos at all. And then the Joker runs and choke him and say, who are you? And he says, I am the smartest man in the world, and I can help you become the greatest force the world has ever known by opening your mind. And the Joker is basically like, well, how can you do this? And who are you? And the guy says, once again, I'm the smartest man in the world, and I trained Batman. Now, there's kind of a two-part story of what's going on in this comic. And this part of the story I'm very interested and excited for. It's kind of foreshadowing what's to come. So we catch up to where the Joker is caught and locked up in some type of contraption. And it says, we couldn't solve the Joker, so we locked him away in Arkham, hooked up to a machine, Barbara's idea after she became commissioner. Where in his mind, he was still going, still fighting, still trying to one-up me. More humane than that monster deserved, except I made sure, even in his wildest imaginations, that I always won. But an Arkham doctor was too tempted. He wanted to study the most malevolent and brilliant mind to ever exist. More dead. Whatever he was about to do, it was going to be big. I just didn't realize how big. The Red Hood, whether it's just one or more, he's calling me to where it all started. I don't have any choice, and he knows it. And it shows where the Joker says, "You always follow me like a lovesick puppy. Condemn me to dreams, and you'll soon find yourself there in the darkness." Then Batman proceeds, "It was the last thing he said to me, and he was right. And now the whole situation is a nightmare of darkness. Somewhere in this city, Duke is infected, and his powers are absorbing all the light, plunging Gotham into eternal night. They're all gone. I'm all alone. So alone. Everyone's affected. An audible virus spread by laughter. And now the world is the Joker," which is an amazing way to end the comic, man. I'm really excited to finish the parts of the Joker Year 1. If you like this comic, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. Let me know how you feel about this. If you have any other comics that you would like for me to go over, just let me know. Please like and subscribe. Tell me what y'all think. Let me know. Other than that, man, y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.